I had the chance to live in Lebanon, maybe the best decade or 15 years of Lebanon's life itself, meaning 1950 or 1 or 2 years before until 1965 and the beginning of some troubles that started in Lebanon. These years meant a lot to me, and in fact, they have given to my life the meaning of living, because we were a bunch of friends going to school, to university, and we stayed together. This is the time when I started acting as a comedian, although I have never been a professional comedian, but at school I used to have some roles. My best role was in Le Malade Imaginaire of Molière. This is a French comedy that at the end of the day somebody said in the press, we've learned that Jean-Claude Boulos is preparing his engineer diploma. Well, we think that he should stop that and be an actor because we think he's a great actor. But I didn't hear that. I continued, of course, studying the engineer, but in the same time, I was acting, I was singing, I was writing songs, I was imitating. Everything that concerned the show, I did. Back in 1959, I had the great honor to present on the UNESCO stage 3 memorable concerts given by Louis Armstrong and his orchestra. And I was to put the whole theater on fire before he went in. I was 24 years old, presenting Louis Satchmo Armstrong. I don't know if you can imagine what this meant to me and to my generation, to see Louis Armstrong live, to see Ella Fitzgerald live, to see the most important ballet coming to Lebanon, to see the most important comedians come to Lebanon, singers, comedians, theater, whatever have you. I was in 1956 among the people who were playing with a big company coming from France, the Julius Caesar at Baalbek. You can imagine that for a guy 22, 23 year old. So all the way, I was studying my engineering, and I was doing this. So when I went into television to build the television, my only idea was, will I be able to be a star of television? Well, my life proved this. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't think about it because maybe I didn't have the means to go out. After all, when I got married back in 1961, we used to live with something like $500 per month. And it surely didn't give me the possibilities of flying away from Lebanon, and went away. And then, when I became a face in the crowd and everybody knew me in Lebanon and had the celebrity that I used to have, and then after that, when I saw that I could be of a public interest to all the people that I was working with, and then again, when the war started in Lebanon and everybody started to fly away from the country, I said to myself, well, I think it was a treason to go out from the country and leave all the people here. And again, I had 3 children. I should have had something like $15,000 to $20,000 at least to establish myself somewhere and fetch for work, because if you are king in your country, you may be a servant in another country, but nobody knows you. But little by little, as I said, I became a face in the crowd. Wherever I used to go, everybody knew me. And on this reputation, I built myself a very stable and very strong company of advertising when I left television, which became the first in Lebanon. All these firsts, I would never have had them would I gone from the country. So I am very proud to have stayed in Lebanon because I worked through the television, because I had a program as well with my daughter Josiane during the fierce battles that struck the country between 88 and 89, where we used to have a whole day program on Sunday called Sunday on Television. I can assure you that the people used to gather together in one house just to see us and have faith in us. As long as I had the faith of my televiewers, I thought that it was a duty to me to stay here with them, among them. Once the priest of our church here in Martakla, when I used to go to Mass, he said to me, please come as often as you can, because the people, when they see you and they see that you are still here in Lebanon, they are telling me, if Jean-Claude Boulos is here, I should be here as well, and you are giving hope to the people to continue and live in the Lebanon, and I will never leave it. I said to myself, if we do not do this, we have to abandon the country, and this is a solution that my wife and I didn't want to take, abandon the country. When we had the possibility of going for 15 days, 3 weeks, for a big, long holiday, we used to go, we used to take it and profit of life. We've done something like 35 to 40 countries together, my wife and I, and sometimes with the children, during the war. So we lived the war. We didn't let it to get us over. The war is something that you face. The war is something that you can beat if you have the will of beating the war. And that's what we have done with the family. I was on my own, building a small company of promotion, of services, and whatever have you, because I take advantage of the face in the crowd that I was to enter boldly in every place. Oh, this is Mr. Boulos, how are you? How enchanted we are to know you, etc., etc. And scarcely would I have gone without a budget to spend. So I started to put £1 after another to arrive to what I've reached. And I reached the summit in Lebanon during the war. I was frustrated, of course, because I was in a place on the border of the two Beiruts, and I had to live the daily commitments of staying alive. Because if I went through the street, I could have been reached by a sniper or whatever. She has always been behind me. I mean, even when we are having not even enough money to go to the cinema, she used to tell me, don't worry, we're going to succeed. She was always behind me whenever I had an idea in head. I always discussed with her what we should do and what we shouldn't. When I decided to settle myself on my own, she was the first one to encourage me and says, you are going to succeed, I'm sure of it. And she was with me in the office for all the time that Anti-Régie, my agency, was run. But after we merged, of course, she stayed alone at home, but she also managed not to stay doing nothing. She went into charity, into civil welfare, and she's doing perfect.